Welcome back to the Animated Arcade. I'm John.
I'm still doing my breathing exercises.
Excellent. And this is a video game cartoon podcast where we watch, review, riff on, and share trivia about video game cartoons.
And slander the video games.
Oh man.
And the cartoon especially.
The cartoon especially. Although that's really more reporting on self-slander.
Yeah.
And we're continuing through the Super Mario Bros. Super Show and Legend of Zelda in air date order with episode
43.
Yeah. Which I have to remind myself, which is also the same episode of the show so far.
Yes. It's going to be a lot more complicated when we have to start moving into other things.
Yeah. Then we'll just stop referring to numbers altogether.
Yeah.
But if you want to watch the episode numbers that we're watching today, you can do that on the Wild Brain Superheroes YouTube channel,
Amazon Prime,
and the N-Circle TV app, if it's working.
Not to mention, you can also buy the DVD from a garage sale on Saturday, July something. Blistering Heat.
That was Aaron's phone buzzing. I told you, that is, like you said, that's a harsh buzz. So
It is.
maybe don't leave it on the desk.
But as I was saying, you can buy it from a garage sale on a Saturday in July under the blistering heat after buying yourself a $3 lemonade off the corner 2 blocks away.
That's not a bad idea. But yeah, there is a modern DVD pressing, but it doesn't have any of the live action segments. Speaking of, the live action segment is Zenned Out Mario, and the cartoon is The Koopas Are Coming, The Koopas Are Coming, which aired November 1st, 1989. We've moved into another new month.
So we're now in the 3rd month. It's taken us 2 years?
A year and change.
Yeah.
Depending how you want to count when we started recording. I don't think there's any more preamble. You want to get into the live action segment?
I would actually rather not. But
Too
push
bad.
the...
With the Mario Brothers and plumbing's a game. We're not like the others who get all the fame. If your sink is in trouble, you can call us on the double. We're faster than the others, you'll be hooked on the brothers. Hooked on the brothers.
Yo! Yep.
So, Zenned Out Mario.
So, Mario is stressed out. He's locking the door. He's ensuring it's locked thrice over. Deadbolts, chain lock, that little thing that you can use on school doors, everything that he possibly can. He's double checking the deadbolts because he's a goner.
Yeah, it turns out there's this plumber who's a big ape bully guy, and Mario thought it'd be a good idea to ask out his sister.
Who the last person that took his sister on a date got turned into a human pretzel.
Yeah. So, Mario's pretty sure he's doomed, and as he's fretting, he sees the face of a wizened old Asian man in the mirror.
Named Obi-Wan Cannoli.
Yeah, because as Luigi exposits, he's a spirit who shows up to help people who are convinced they're goners.
By Tullio.
Specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Tullio being the name of the evil plumber.
Yeah. The rival, Spinelli. Scapelli.
Scapelli.
Scapelli. Scapelli. Scapelli. Scapelli?
Oh.
But yeah, he says he's gonna teach Mario something.
The ways to ensure that he does not die, or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite that on the nose, but
It's pretty much that.
yeah, it's Tullio eats steel parts for lunch. Mario mentions he asked Tullio's sister out. Human pretzel. Obi-Wan Cannoli, this famous spirit who helps people who are about to get pounded. Mario is relieved and then turns to Obi, who explains he came in on short notice and tells him to fill him in. And I think that's when the cartoon starts.
Not quite. Because he does explain the situation with Tullio
Oh, yeah.
and asks Obi for the first lesson. Cannoli tells him that he has to pass through a wall to reach enlightenment, and starts going, "What are you waiting for? Start passing." which, very threatening. And Mario runs through the wall that is already mostly destroyed to the subway.
Yeah, and for the second time, ends up in a pile of cardboard bricks in front of the crumpled wall. And that's when the cartoon starts.
We cut back from the cartoon, and, this one did not stick.
No, Mario's doing the crane pose.
Yeah. And the head of Cannoli
is... Yeah, no, so first he was in the medicine cabinet mirror.
Yeah.
This time they didn't open the cabinet. He was superimposed on the mirror. It was actually a not bad effect because Mario's reflection was also still on it. In that awkward TV way where someone has to stand at a 45-degree angle so that the camera can film their reflection from a head on. Now his head is just superimposed in the top left corner of the screen for most of the rest of the episode.
Yeah. My mind's just buffering on this. Leading down the path, or Mario down the path to enlightenment. And it cuts to Legend of Zelda in the weirdest, most jargoned way.
Yeah, does he say?
So it cuts to the Mario brothers about to say something about the Legend of Zelda. Then it cuts back out to Obi superimposed head in the corner with the Mario brothers. And says something about watch these clips from the this week's Legend of Zelda. Mario finds his Zen,
or something. Yeah.
And it cuts back, and Mario finally has the idea. Hey, you know what the best way to avoid getting pounded is? Hiding.
Yeah, he's got a pair of crutches.
Yeah.
He says even Tulio wanted someone on crutches, right, Luigi?
I can't remember what Luigi said.
Oh, I don't remember. Something like, I don't know about this plan, Mario.
Yeah.
And, Obi, what are you going to do to help? Or something. I only kind of remember.
Yeah.
And then...
then the door starts pounding, and Mario, in his Mama Mario voice, says, Mario's not here!
Yeah.
I don't believe you!
Yeah. And then Master Cannoli, in an echoey, boomy voice, tells Tulio to knock it off, and that,
Mario's not there.
No, Mario is his friend, or he would be lucky to have Mario date his sister, because his sister is so difficult.
Yeah.
And Tulio's like, you're right, my friend Mario isn't here. And he leaves.
Yeah. And then thanking Obi, he gave a final bit of advice, something along the lines of...
Because they asked how he did it.
Yeah. And he said, I just made my voice echo.
Yeah.
And then he gave the advice, some people like Tulio grow strong and firm like the mighty oak. Some grow round and soft like a ripe tomato. And when Mario asked Obi what it means... Obi responded back, you make better tasting sauce than Tulio. They do the Mario with Obi never showing up, but being a ghost behind.
Yeah.
So,
And that's that.
Yeah. It was mediocre to bad.
Yeah, and it's
not sticking.
No, and they put effort into it because they had to do this superimposing thing. I don't think they had to. I think they chose to.
Yeah, they could have just left him in the medicine cabinet.
Yeah, that's one way they could have done it. But no, they decide to just have this guy's spectral head all over the place.
Which did enhance the episode.
Yeah.
Still to the bottom third.
Yes, but near the top of the bottom third, if not on the top of the bottom third, I'd say.
Yeah. It's just not quite at the level to make it to mid-third.
No, definitely not.
It's not mid enough for mid.
It's upper mid, lower mid. It's upper lower mid.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the fault of the guest star, who was...
Arsenio Trinidad.
Who I was convinced I had seen somewhere before, and Aaron has come to the conclusion that I'm just racist. Because he's He's very similar to an older Asian actor who was in lots of episodes of MASH.
Yes. So, this person, speaking of MASH, has been on quite a few different things. All seeming to be one episode things. And now the page that I had that had it loaded is no longer loading.
I hate when that happens.
But let's start with what he was from. John Trapper, MD.
Trapper John?
Nope. Making a new series.
Yeah. And best of luck to you.
Yeah. He was also on, you might know him from, Darkman or The Shadow.
Or MacGyver.
MacGyver.
Tonight on MacGyver.
Aunt Selma has 1 hour to live.
Hey, down in front.
And these are all single episode appearances, right?
I mean, Darkman and The Shadow were...
movies. Okay,
yeah.
But you know what I mean.
Yes. Why is it not pulling up? Oh, now it's pulling it up. The Wild Thornberries. 1 episode as archery judge.
What an odd little, spot to be in.
Yeah. Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls.
Who did he play in that?
The Ashram Monk.
Okay, yeah, I kind of remember. I haven't seen that movie in a long time, outside of the usual clips.
Stick Fighter.
Nope.
The Next Karate Kid.
Oh, yeah, okay, that was the one with the very young Hilary Swank, I think.
Yeah, I think so. We don't go that deep in this show. You know that. Unless we know it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the trick. It's all about passion.
Yeah.
If he had been the guy from MASH, I would have started listing episodes that he was in.
Yeah, instead.
I could list the episodes I think he was in.
Let's not.
Oh.
1 episode in Alfred Hitchcock Presents. He was the Feng Shui man. He was in MacGyver as Khan. Ooh, a few that he was in multiple episodes. Max Headroom as...
I've never seen any actual Max Headroom.
Neither have I.
I've just seen clips of the show and clips of the Max Headroom incident.
I've not seen either.
Do you know of the Max Headroom incident?
No.
Oh, that's...
Is this a good tangent for you to go on?
No, it's pretty famous. It's the most famous unsolved television broadcast interruption ever, where an episode of, I think, Doctor Who on a local station got cut off by a guy in a Max Headroom mask, spouting insane gibberish, and then getting his ass swatted with a fly swatter.
Okay.
I'll send you a video about it. It's a really good... It's an interesting topic.
All right. I'm looking forward to learning more about it and completely forgetting.
What's the wave?
He was also in 2 episodes of Hunter.
I'm not familiar with that.
It was in 1985 to 1988.
Okay. Are we just reading all of it now?
No, I'm pretty much done. His last role was 1 episode in Malcolm in the Middle as Mr. Lee.
Okay.
And that is all. That was in 2000.
Well, he did fine.
Yeah.
Playing a quote-unquote Asian mystic martial arts teacher type.
And at that point, he would have been 78.
In Malcolm in the Middle?
No, in this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That puts a different edge on it. No wonder he didn't show up in person. They filmed it in his nursing home.
And he
All right.
still worked for another 11 years.
Good for him.
Oh.
We want to move on to the cartoon?
But first,
But if you're enjoying the show, please, you can like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel.
you can rate us 5 stars on your podcaster service of choice.
That's about it. Tell your friends if you think you got any friends who'd like the show.
And if you want to comment on what should be a good comment for this week.
Did you see this episode when you were a kid or later in life? Or anything like that. It doesn't have to be a specialized new thing. Just leave a comment. It can be a thumbs up emoji.
Or thumbs down.
Yeah.
This week, thumbs down is thumbs up. For emojis.
Now, evil Koopa and his troopers are up to misbehaving. They kidnapped the Princess Mushroom Land.
Saving.
Abusing and confusing everybody discovers. They can't help but be
Hooked on the brothers.
The brothers?
The brothers.
The brothers.
Yes, you gotta be hooked on the brothers. Okay, so, the Koopas are coming. The Koopas are coming. Henceforth being referred to only by the name once. Obviously, a take on the Redcoats are coming. So, we're in one of the 13 mushroom colonies.
And it's Plumber's Log 1776.
Oh yeah, that was a nice touch. And the Marios and everyone else are going out to help General George Washingtoad defend these colonies against Red Coat Koopa.
Who is already in the tent with them.
Yeah, he's just standing behind the black.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, it's George Washington. And
He wasn't sleeping there.
no, apparently not. They're talking about having to stop Koopa. Koopa's already there. He...
Uses his ice rod.
Yeah, I think they call it a magic scepter, but yeah, it's like an ice rod from Zelda, and he just,
Freezes Luigi and Toad right
Yeah.
off the bat. And I was wondering how they were going to, what the plot was at this point. And it just kept getting weirder.
yeah, he freezes all of them eventually.
Yeah.
Basically, he's going to attack the colonies at sunrise, and to prevent Washington's army from getting in the way, he's freezing everybody. But fortunately for Mario, and everyone, they're all like alive and able to talk in their ice cubes.
And he's still a jump man.
He is that. He says, I can't move, but I can jump. It's like, how? But whatever. And he manages to jump himself on top of the wood stove that was keeping the tent warm.
And it melts himself in 2.7 seconds.
Yeah, well, I mean, the ice was thin enough. I think it's like Mr. Freeze, where sometimes you're frozen solid and sometimes you're just encased in ice. They were like in... You ever get an ice cube that you take it out of the tray too early and it's only frozen on the outside?
Yes.
I think it's like that, because we've already established they can talk and breathe underwater. So if they're in a watery surface, encased in ice, not surface, but you know what I mean. Anyway, Mario has to try and hoist Luigi onto the stove, slips,
Throws him up.
throws him up, he lands in a pile with the others, and then they all start melting for some reason that I didn't quite catch.
I think it's just the tent was warm.
Maybe that's it. We cut to Koopa, who's having a meeting with his...
Flurry?
Yeah, it's a Flurry is his second in command. And then there's a whole bunch of red-coated Koopa Troopas all standing at attention unblinkingly for the entire episode. For most of the episode, anyway. And he exposits about how he wants to attack now. Why wait for sunrise? And the Flurry's like, you want to attack in the dark? And then Koopa immediately slips and falls over and says, attacking in the dark was a terrible idea. Why'd you give it to me? We'll attack at sunrise. And we cut back, and the princess has found a fire flower from somewhere.
That is drawn properly.
Yeah, or relatively properly.
Drawn to
Like
a point where you can see that it's a fire flower, not...
Yeah, it's the way the show has drawn fire flowers before.
Yeah.
It was before they really settled into the way they look in Mario 3 as the fire flower. But anyway, Mario's job is to start thawing people out, but it's going to take him a while. So Luigi's going to ride that weird horse, the
No oats, no
work. Sorry, Fatso. That's the one. I like how we both remembered work at the same time. Speaking of, I better get going.
Yeah.
So
You're already late.
I am. So Luigi's got to ride through the colonies shouting, "The Koopas are coming! The Koopas are coming!" Only to be ambushed by a once again returning squad of flying Jeff Bezos. Now, did the horse write the note, or did they pin a note to the horse?
I think somehow the horse wrote the note.
Because, yeah, we cut to King Koopa's got Luigi in the stock.
The horse returns home to the colony.
There's a note pinned to it explaining that Koopa's got Luigi captured and that he's going to attack at dawn. Meanwhile, there's only a handful of soldiers thawed out. And then in a weirdly laid out plan with a map, Mario basically is like, we're going to cross the Delawide River so that we can sneak up on the Koopas from behind.
When they're thawing the last of the colony army, Mario's throwing fireballs as regular Mario.
Yeah, there's a few times in this episode where Fire Mario suddenly switches back to regular Mario.
Regular, everyday, ordinary guy, bro.
Yes. And, but whatever. And then in the next shot, he'll be back to his Fire Mario colors. But yeah, so they decide they're going to have to cross the Delawide River. And, it's cold.
And no one can cross it.
Yeah. Especially when it's this cold. How did you think that would work?
Well?
And so, Mario, Toad, the princess, Washingtoad, and a couple of Toad soldiers, like 3, are crossing in... Is it a bathtub?
It was a bathtub. Because everything was plumbing related.
You know, I thought we were being seamless with muting the mics, but I noticed when you mute yours, suddenly my voice stops echoing.
Oh.
So that's going to be interesting.
Oh.
Well, we'll sort this out better for the next time we have to record here instead of our usual space.
Yeah.
So, Mario and the gang are crossing. Everyone's getting tired and kind of bitchy. But Toad has a plan. He throws a gold coin to the shore and says, first one to find that gold coin gets to keep it.
And it's another case where they hold the animation for too long on everything. And I say that for a couple of reasons. The first being, there was a good, funny gag, but it happened after like 4 seconds of everything else happening, where the horse pulled a paddle out. And at this point, you're already like, okay, fine, let's get to the next part.
Yeah, by the time the joke actually starts.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's still funny enough. But you're right, the horse, like, looked back and forth, like...
3-4 times?
Before picking up the paddle. Yeah, it's that kind of episode again, with the weird loose timing sometimes. But we cut one more time back to Koopa, who's just getting ready for his army to head out. And Washingtoad and that group...
throw a gold coin, ruining their element of surprise.
Yeah, I think the joke is that it's the same coin, and that is where it landed.
Oh.
It bounces right across Koopa's nose. And it makes the coin sound a couple times. And they turn around and see Washingtoad and Mario and them there, and what does he say? Give me Koopa or give me death. It's like, okay.
A lot of the misquotes really didn't land on this one.
Yeah, there's at one point Washingtoad says, I can't tell a lie. Something, you know, it's just too...
Yeah.
It probably plays a lot better to people who are used to getting George Washington jokes in their media. Like we all were in the 80s because we were watching American TV.
Meanwhile, we end up in Canada in the 90s and 2000s getting a lot more Canadian TV, like Corner Gas.
And the Raccoons.
I thought the Raccoons was the 80s. Or was that 92?
No, it was the 80s, but it still constantly aired on CBC.
Yeah.
This is the Evergreen Forest. Quiet, peaceful, serene. That is, until Bert Raccoon wakes up. Luckily, he has some good friends to help him out. Life would be simple in the forest except for Cyril's sneer. And his life would be simple except for the raccoons.
But
and the Red Green show.
oh yeah, the greatest Canadian show until Corner Gas.
Yeah.
It goes basically, Welcome Back Kotter, Red Green Show, Corner Gas. Welcome Back Kotter was Canadian, wasn't it? Or am I thinking of the Beachcombers?
You're thinking of the Beachcombers.
Okay, and that's not as good.
No.
Littlest Hobo?
Yes. That was Canadian.
Yeah. I saw an episode with DeForest Kelly in it once. But that's a story for another day. So there's a fight scene set to He's a Rebel originally by the Crystals.
And
it's a good cover, but it does not work as an action piece song.
No.
Special thanks as always to the Super Mario Bros. Super HQ channel on YouTube, link in the description below for the cover song.
Red Coated Koopa Troopers! Stop those mushrooms!
He's a rebel and he'll never be any good. He's a rebel cause he never does what he should. Just because he doesn't do what everybody else does. That's no reason why I can't give him all my love. He's always good to me, always treats me tenderly. He's not a rebel, no. He's not a rebel, no.
This is one of those handful of times where the replacement music was better. And it was just fucking mega move again.
About 30 seconds before this, John said, I wonder where the cover's gonna be.
Yeah, well, it's either we get it like at the halfway point or the big end of action set piece. Like in the last one, we got it halfway through in the pyramid.
Yeah.
For like 12 seconds. But no, there's a big fight scene. The boat they're all on slides down the hill, breaks the stalks and knocks Luigi out. Mario is apparently not Fire Mario anymore, which I think he already wasn't in the boat. Maybe he got wet.
Yeah.
Or sad, or both.
He just ran out of time.
That could be it. It's very ambiguous. Mario ends up landing in a pile of grass in the middle of the snow and pulls out what is apparently a fire flower.
It is not. It looks like a maple leaf.
Yeah, I thought it was like a Mario 2 red tuft of grass that he'd pull up to find something, but no, it was a fire flower, apparently.
Yeah.
Somehow. But yeah, this one was full of a lot of animation errors. We'll cherry pick some of our favorites off the list after the review.
Sorry.
That's okay. I know what it's like. Okay, you can stop now.
No, I can't. Nothing can stop the creek.
The Spanish Inquisition?
No, no one expects that.
Mm.
Plenty of things have stopped it.
That's true. Anyway, Mario gets his firepower back. And somehow, how does Koopa's ice spear get knocked away from him? Do you remember at all?
I don't.
The princess and a couple of mushroom soldiers were skiing down a hill on pipes because it's plumbing.
Was it because the Koopa swung the cannon around, shot one at Mario coming down in the bathtub, where he grabbed a U-pipe and sent it right back into the cannon.
A bomb specifically is what fired out of these cannons, which is actually, that's a call forward to Mario 3. We'll see if you-know-who comes up with that in his letter, if there's one. I don't want to assume there will be one, but there has been for so long.
Yeah.
Anyway, Luigi has a fight with the Flurry for the wand and eventually comes out on top. comes out of what is supposed to be snow, but looks a lot like wedding cake.
Yes.
But he chucks Mario the ice rod, and was that the pasta power?
I think so.
Yeah, Mario's got the ice rod, and he says, it's pasta power time. So pasta power is up to an even
20
as of episode 43. So there's life in this conceit yet. Mario starts freezing the Koopa army, or so we believe, because at one point there's nothing but the animation of the ice beam against a black background, which was supposed to have been all the Koopa Troopas. But that seems to be the case. What happens to does Koopa get frozen too? I think so.
Yeah, I think he does this time.
I think that's about it. They freeze everybody. They win. They finally have finished thawing out all the rest of the army. And Mario and Luigi are named uncles of the new country instead of founding fathers, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess. And they come in like playing a fife, and Yankee Doodle is playing.
And a bugle.
And a little drum, probably.
Yeah.
God bless America. But there is some fun music when Luigi is riding in doing the Red Coats Are Coming bit, where it's mixing the William Tell Overture with the overworld theme from Mario 2. If I can find a good clean cut of that, I'll put it in right here, because it is interesting. If not, I'll just put the actual episode audio in.
So, funny story, I did the mailbag for this week before the episode, and I ended up including that bit of music in there. So stay tuned for that.
But, besides the cover songs, people should be checking out the Super Mario Bros. Super HQ channel. Link in the description below. They've also got episode music with the dialogue pretty well edited out. They're kind of leading the field on that. And this is a good point to put in. If I didn't edit it in already, I'll put in the crystals thing, because we talked about it but then didn't do the segue.
Yeah.
But I'll probably just do the old generic drop in. I still have that in my folder somewhere. And that's it. That is The Koopas Are Coming. Not a terrible episode, but certainly not great.
No.
What's your take on it?
I did not like it. I don't know. I feel like it fell through on so many fields and so many levels, and it just, as a Canadian, I didn't like it.
I was so used to seeing this sort of crap in cartoons that doesn't really bother me. It's just a fact of these genre-type cartoons. Eventually, they were going to do George Washington.
Yeah. And we got it twice.
Yeah.
And
we're hitting that point where they're going to start coming up with stuff. Obviously, I'm not expecting them to go, wow, this is just like when we saw the ghost of George Washington in our dream sequence.
Yeah.
But, you think they'd at least realize that he's a lot like the George Washington that they know from their history books.
Yeah.
And their cartoons. And I know there's an Elvis parody coming up. They're certainly not going to remember the time that they were coached on singing by Elvis's ghost. So it's just one of those things where technically we're supposed to believe the live action segments take place in the same universe as the cartoon, but it doesn't really matter.
No. In the end, it really doesn't matter.
But as for the episode itself, I don't know. Thought it was okay. Not great. An okay out of 10, as I used to hear. So, before I get into the cast, I want to cherry pick a few of these animation errors.
when scrolling through and had Koopa jump around the screen?
Yeah, that was fun. Koopa's standing in front of his tent, and they're doing a pan shot towards Luigi and the stalks. And then when the camera stops panning, Koopa is suddenly walking towards Luigi, but without an in-between showing him leaving his previous position.
Yeah.
After Mario acquires a fire flower to thaw Washingtoad's soldiers, he can be seen in his normal form in some scenes, eventually resulting in him acquiring another fire flower. Despite Toad being frozen with his friends, he is missing when Mario thaws everyone out. In some scenes, the flurry that helps Red Coat Koopa is missing its arms. When the Bezos appear over Luigi on his horse, Luigi is depicted as Fire Mario. When Mario says that he and his friends can attack Red Coat Koopa from behind, his head is layered behind the bubble he is in. Yeah, Himself, Washingtoad, and the princess appear in bubbles over a map describing the battle plan. When Red Coat Koopa is talking to Luigi in the pillory, Luigi has Mario's head shape and mustache. I didn't see that one. When Mario shoots a fireball to warm everyone up, the tents at Washingtoad's camp are red instead of tan.
I did see that.
Now here's the big one. When Mario freezes Red Coat Koopa's army, the scene appears to be unfinished, missing the Koopa Troopas and having a black background.
We
definitely noticed that. It's like the same scene is in a few different Star Wars documentaries, but when it shows how the original rotoscoping was done for the lightsabers, they'll always show one shot of just the layer that's black with the blades on it. It's kind of like that.
You know, in storytelling, there's this concept of the less you show, the more you can show. And it's exactly like that. We have to look beyond the animation error. We need to look at the intention behind that.
Well, the intention is that Mario is freezing the Koopa Troopas, but they didn't draw any. So,
and how did that make you feel?
It made me feel hurt.
See, it helped convey emotions.
Yeah, that's what it did. So, the cast. We got Lou Albano as Mario, Danny Wells as Luigi, Jeannie Elias as Princess Toadstool, John Stalker as Toad and George Washingtoad, Koopa Troopa, the Bezos, the Flurry, and Citizen Number 1. Do you remember any of the citizens actually talking?
No.
Okay, good. I know the one kind of went, as he looked up from his newspaper. And we got Harvey Atkin as Red Coat Koopa and Citizens 2 and 3.
They were cut for time.
Must have been.
Instead, we got an extra 5 seconds of rowing. Well worth it.
Yep. Yeah, so the horse can make up his mind. So, as for the writer, it's another returning writer. We've really been hitting a lot of these lately. Ted Peterson, who previously wrote Pirates of Koopa. So you can look up our episode on Pirates of Koopa if you want to hear more about Ted Peterson. Now,
I preferred Pirates of Koopa.
To this one? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pirates of Koopa had the fun scene of them infiltrating the pirate den.
As well as using a saw to cut through the smog.
That was funny.
Oh.
When I was listening to an older episode where we were talking about all the types of bombs, and I think we listed that one, but we forgot the net bombs.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll have to go back and make a real list. So, this is filler.
No, it's American lore.
How do you mean?
I mean, it's lore for America.
That George Washingtoad beat King Koopa in 1776.
Yes.
Very good. That's why they have the right to bear fire flowers. Yeah, no. Do you think it's down to the trash?
It's getting to the garburator.
There you go. That's a good segue, as usual, into ratings. I'm going to give this like a... I don't know. There were some segments that had some like ambition. You know, the fight scene had a lot of neat stuff in it. That bit with the bubbles, the character bubbles over the map was like at least unique. They weren't just standing at a table pointing at a piece of paper that they would forget to draw stuff on. So, I don't know. I'd give it a 3.5 Mushroom Kingdom tea parties.
All right,
Which
that was
another
one of
reference
the,
they
yeah.
made.
They made a reference about throwing all of Red Coat Koopa's tea into the harbor.
Yeah. So what about you?
I give it a 3. Slipping in the Darks.
Slipping in the Darks.
Yeah.
That's a good name for a song.
It's a sequel to Dancing in the Dark.
Oh, okay.
About
and a prequel to Kissing in the Dark.
Yeah. And happens at the exact same time as Fishing in the Dark.
Oh, I remember that one.
So, side by side. Now you have the entire anthology of the Dark Saga.
I think I used to have that in paperback.
Hey, just a little drop in before this mailbag. Aaron had a little mic bleed on his end, so you're going to hear me echo sometimes. I've managed to mute most of it, but it'll be noticeable in tighter spots where I couldn't just highlight a bunch and hit mute. Also, Aaron had a bit of a sinus thing going on, so he might sound a little stuffy. It's letter time. Hey, back with another mailbag. We've got comments, and the emails have been piling up, so we're going to get right to it. Aaron, you want to start with comments?
Yes, let's start with this comment. On the YouTube page for the announcement of our episode, somewhere a Bruce Wayne parody took inspiration of the Mark of Zorro for his superhero career. The Mark of Zero for his superhero career. That was Lanola Cola. Lanola Cola.
Even better.
Lanola Cola is a weird amalgamation.
Yeah, we're recording this a little late.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's funny to imagine that in one version of the multiverse, instead of being inspired by Zorro as a kid, Bruce Wayne saw a bunch of the same Zorro parodies we did, and this one in particular. Yes, Father, I shall become 0+1.
Oh. That's very non-plus. So yeah, thank you for that comment, Lanola Cola. And Lanola Cola, if you exist, I challenge you to a duel. Next, on last episode's Lanola Cola comment.
For on the podcast post, not the video itself.
On the podcast post. Now, is it blasphemous for the Super Mario Brothers Super Show to do an episode referencing the Bible like that?
Yeah, which you can't see it in the screen I sent you, but I commented back, not technically, because technically it's a movie parody.
I didn't realize the Three Stooges was Christian.
Yeah, well, Shemp converted them all.
Oh. Well, I have no complaints on that.
No. It's a free country.
Now, on episode 42, Let My Mushroom People Go, Aaron beating the Eminem joke...
Hang on. Where is this comment from? It's a Spotify comment.
Okay.
On episode 42.
On episode 42, Spotify comment, Cole Genie, Aaron...
Whoever that is.
Yeah, I think he was on a podcast once. A podcast much more successful than us.
Do you have any idea how little that narrows it down?
Aaron beating the Eminem joke to death got a hearty laugh out of me. Pro tip, always beat the joke to death. It is imperative that you must always beat the joke to death. Next time, if you could do that, it would be much appreciated if you could beat the joke to death, like with a crowbar or a baseball bat, to death. Yeah, you know, that joke was actually based off of a song that was featured in 8 Mile.
Yes.
I
love a callback.
I think it was Lose Yourself. Or, no. Maybe. I don't know.
And that's the soundtrack to the movie 8 Mile, starring Eminem.
Yes, Marshall Mathers. Matterson. Another
Cheers,
callback.
Poochie. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, thanks, Cole. We hope to hear from you again. All right. Should we get into the emails?
Yes, I think we should get into one email.
Well, we've got 3, but let's start with 1 and see how we're doing for time.
Let's amalgamate all 3. We'll rotate every third word.
Okay, you start.
Underworld.
Okay, so this first one is from Dr. Derp. The 10 Coop Mandments /the artist, or, oh, that's how you felt watching the James Bond parody. Hey, John and Aaron. I hope your bags are packed because we're heading straight to ancient Egypt. Watch out, because here we go. Thoughts on the artist. The pre-cartoon hook is a bit of a nothing burger held together by exposition, and after the cartoon, it's not Peter Ustinov, or perhaps not Zero Mostel, ranting to Luigi about the proper way... Hang on, let me take that all again.
No.
The pre-cartoon hook is a bit of a nothing burger held together by exposition, and after the cartoon, it's not Peter Ustinov, or perhaps not Zero Mostel, ranting to Luigi about the proper way to make art. The guest star is charismatic enough, but by this point we've gotten more memorable segments with more memorable guest stars. Not to mention, the ending twist was done better in Fake Bro.
True.
That's definitely true, because they actually had to scare him off properly in Fake Bro.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the 10 Coopmandments? Well, I must say, I'm disappointed that today's tune wasn't a biblical epic. I suppose it's not too surprising, this isn't VeggieTales after all, but it's a little baffling that a generic tune about ancient Egypt, sorry, I'm very mushmouth today, that an ancient cartoon about ancient, oh, there we go.
That an ancient cartoon about generic
Egypt should take its name from the 10 Commandments for no other reason than the Egyptian setting. Then again, I suppose it's perfectly in character for Koopa to co-opt both the 10 Commandments and the title of Pharaoh to fuel his god complex. So maybe this was secretly brilliant all along? This episode does incorporate Mario 1 lore, with toads being turned into bricks and being used to build monuments, so this may very well be more clever than I give it credit for.
It is not.
No. Then again, perhaps I'm giving too much credit to the ancient Egypt cartoon that shoehorns the ugliest Three Stooges pastiche I've ever seen. The new Batman adventures, this most certainly isn't. Oh yeah, Aaron, I don't know if you remember, but in the post-Superman season of Batman, Joker's recurring henchmen were Larry, Curly, and Moe.
I do remember that. Now that you mention...
Yeah, they got beat up by the Creeper.
Ah, yes, the Creeper. Jack Ryder.
Yeah. That's the one. The Creeper, in parentheses, Jack Ryder.
Yeah. He was a journalist / TV host. Kind of like Jon Stewart.
A little bit.
Or Jay Leto.
J. Leto.
Yeah. Exactly.
The predictable cover song choice of Walk Like an Egyptian is serviceable enough, but all the chase scene really has to offer is a who's who of recognizable enemies and scenarios from Mario 2's various desert levels. We do finally get a proper callback to the Exodus story with the climactic parting of the Red Sauce Sea, and while I'll concede the visuals for that segment are quite keen, it's all too little too late. Pharaoh Koopa doesn't even have the same drip Dr. Robotnik had using the same gimmick. Bummer. That's very true. Favorite joke? I don't know. One of Not Wayne Knight's ramblings from the rapper. Unintentional foreshadowing. There actually would be a Sphinx bearing Bowser's likeness in Mario Party 7, as well as Sphinxes of other designs decorating everything from Mario Kart to Paper Mario. Also, Mario becoming a painter naturally recalls Mario Paint. 69 to date.
Nice.
Updated top 5? This cartoon would have been middling all on its own, but the inclusion of the Three Stooges is enough to push it into the so uncivilized tier for me. Not a fan. Question of the week. What strategy would you employ to impress not George Seurat a la Mario's spaghetti? It doesn't seem like there's much you have to do to impress him, but feel free to get creative anyway. Me? I just show him my napkin once I'm done with my Whopper and fries. Next, we're going to have to make an all-out stand. We'll be outgunned, outmanned, outnumbered, and outplanned. Don't say I didn't warn you. I'll be there as your right-hand man. See ya.
John, that is a Hamilton reference. Just in case
I didn't, but I thought it might be.
I will be your guide.
I was going to ask you.
Yes. Because I like Hamilton. It's a good musical. I thoroughly enjoyed it. My wife did not like it. She wants she wants her money back. She wants her time back.
And see, I just haven't taken the time to see it yet.
Yeah, it's on a streaming service.
So, if I had drawn the best Tippy Turtle and the artist was telling me how great I was, how would you steal my thunder?
I wouldn't steal your thunder, John, because I respect you on that. If you
Okay,
drew
how
up... Now, let's say it was...
Assuming it's accidental like it was in the episode when Mario dumped that spaghetti on the center step. Ooh, spaghetti on the center step. That's a 21 Darts at Noon song.
Cat fur and John's luggage.
Oh, damn. Well, you certainly wouldn't have to try very hard.
No.
Okay,
and
as
it's
for
poetic
me...
as well, because then it also gets you the red eyes and the sneeziness and the not being able to breathe and the blue face. It's great. It's live art. Lesson 5. Art should be living, but on its way to die.
Now, as for me, yeah, how would I accidentally steal your artistic thunder?
Which I have none.
Yeah, but again, assuming you were being scammed by this guy, what pratfall would I do that would make him decide it'd be easier to try and convince me that I have latent artistic ability that I also don't have? Unless you count making bad AMVs. Let's see. Oh, go to pull a single piece of paper off of a pile and somehow manage to take the whole pile with me. Or take a single DVD off the shelf and somehow knock one on a different shelf to the floor. Those sort of things happen to me a lot.
Shattering the DVD in a way that represents Tippy Turtle exactly. At least metaphorically.
Do you like to draw or paint? Or maybe just sketch and doodle? God, as soon as I found that commercial to put in, I was like, oh God, how many times did I see this like during Price is Right?
6.
Did I send you the video of that?
Yes, you did.
Oh yeah, where it starts with the kid painting the house. Did that ring a bell to you?
It did.
Okay, good. Okay, so yeah, just me being a klutz. It's a bad habit of mine.
No, it isn't.
And it would be kind of like Homer, with Le Grill. I just get more mad and more things start falling over.
Why doesn't mine look like that?
Yeah. Okay. And you wanted to handle the next email?
Yeah, the next one is from, once again, a man who has shown up on a better podcast than ours. Cole Genie. Mario Gone by Blakel.
I don't think that's how that's pronounced.
Bible? Cal. Better?
Biblioteca.
Biblia Superman. Mario's gone biblical. Fine, I'll say it. Mario and gang's recent adventure in Egypt's New Kingdom.
There's a lot of odd bolds in this. It's like reading a Frank Miller script.
Circa 10,000 BC, historically inaccurate depictions within this adventure are numerous, but here are a few of the standouts. This reenactment of the formative Bible story about the Exodus was set 300 years after the presumed date of 1300 BCE during the decline of Egypt's new kingdom, which occurred between 1000 and 750 BCE.
You gonna be able to keep this up? It looks like it goes quite a ways.
I'll be fine. It's not like having an ear infection. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
In ancient Egypt, traditions of the Three Stooges were 3 distinct characters. Shariti, Tifi, and Motep.
And then he gave you pronunciation guides so you could see how off you were. Although I think you did get Motep.
I'm not... you know what? Motep? Perfect. Let's just... Fine. Sherty. Actually, no, it's just Sherty. Named for the ferryman who carried the souls of the recently departed to the afterlife. His catchphrase was which translates to rooster, rooster, rooster.
Well, why didn't he just say that?
It's Egyptian. At least ancient Egyptian.
But does it run like one? Because
Not
if your
anymore,
car
it
is
doesn't.
going cack.
In the etymology, it refers to knave or optimistic person who exude
Exude me, princess.
an innocence and gullibility.
Only 6 paragraphs left.
Latif, this name refers to a character who is possessed by a merciful, kind, and pleasant personality. The patron deity of Latif is the sun god Shu, who presides over calm and cooling air in peace. Motep, ironically, his character stands in contradiction to their patron god, Mate. Must be an Australian.
I think it's my at.
Nope, it's Mate.
I left my at on the hook.
Motep tended to brawl with his good-natured siblings and acted as a parable for Egypt children. I'm sorry, this... to act in kindness towards their siblings as misfortune followed the three due to Motep's machinations of power and fame. The Red Sea... Let's try that again.
It's not so easy, is it?
Yes, it is.
Oh.
The Red Sauce Sea, depicted in this presentation of the Exodus tale, is in fact a rosé sauce rather than a red sauce. The Red Sea would not receive the requisite quantities of cream until the rise of
P is silent.
Dynasty. Post-Greek occupation, circa 300 BC.
Deep breath.
Ancient Egyptian mummification was never performed upon Goombas.
Yeah, all the dead Goombas are flat.
Yeah.
Or burned.
Although some sources say that few of the pharaohs... Let me try that again. Of the pharaohs were indeed Goombas in life. In death, they were elevated to Champigonin.
I don't know.
Koopa would represent Sobek, the ancient god of royalty, the Nile River, and great strength, although the visuals are apt. The characteristics of this pharaoh Kooptut, defies the touchstones of Sobek, as he was not depicted eating Osiris, who would naturally be represented by Luigi. There are numerous additional inaccuracies, but these were the most egregious ones presented therein. Translated from a tablet exhumed from the dance floor of Grand Vizier Cole of Disco.
Well, I think that's about all that need be said.
Indeed!
Thank you, Cole. And Aaron will be suing you shortly for punitive damages.
Vocal cord damages.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Hey,
fun.
I would never call your vocal cords punitive. All right, and we got one more from Dr. Derp.
Luckily without any bold.
Yeah. The Koopas are coming / Zenned Out Mario, or the Virgin King George versus the Chad George Washingtoad. Oh, someone's got to draw that, and it won't be me. Hey, John and Aaron, raise a glass to freedom. It's something they can never take away. Certainly not with the Mario Brothers on our side. Let's check in. Thoughts on Zenned Out Mario? I love how Magic Johnson has free reign to appear in the Brothers' mirror, no questions asked, but Obi-Wan Cannoli is too much. As bizarre as the guest star is, the opening hook is quite promising. It only gets nuttier from there. I can't believe Cannoli would gatekeep the secrets to enlightenment behind a bumper for The Legend of Zelda. Unfortunately, the conclusion to the rapper is a bit anticlimactic. I guess that explains the Star Wars illusion, but I was hoping for a stronger punchline to end this bizarre but welcome rapper on.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, no problem.
After the thoughts on Koopa, I'll take over for the next line.
Thoughts on the Koopas are coming.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the moment you've been waiting for. The pride of Mount Vernon, George Washingtoad. There. It's another Hamilton reference. There's going to be a few of these. Same with raise a glass to freedom. It's something they can never take away.
The premise is completely stupid, but I kind of love it. I'm not entirely sure if the way the premise is established makes it better or worse. So much happens with so little breathing room. We meet General Washingtoad, we learn about a pseudo-American revolution with zero context, Princess Toadstool gives the revolution her approval, and then Koopa is there to say, "Oh no you don't." I think it's safe to assume that it's against the Koopa Empire the mushrooms are fighting in this scenario, which makes Toadstool's approval a little more logical, but the central premise of the Super Show just doesn't line up enough with the American Revolution pastiche in spite of the cartoon's unwavering confidence. In short, this is the very kind of guilty pleasure I wish Bad Rap could have been. As dumb as Bad Rap's premise is, a more professional groove would have gone a long way to improve its endurance. Meanwhile, the commitment this tune has to its premise is nothing short of admirable. George Washingtoad could have easily come across with the same cringe as the Stooges from the 10 Coopmandments, but instead he kinda comes across as a Chad. I can't help but cheer with enthusiasm of a Zoomer watching Steve Minecraft cook lava chicken when Luigi charges off shouting, "The Koopas are coming!" as a William Tell Mario 2 Overworld mashup plays. Keen touches like Mario narrating over the map anime style are appreciated. Yeah, this will be the episode this mailbag goes on, so I just re-listened to it recently, and yeah, we noted a lot of that. It sticks with you. And I think, yeah, George Washingtoad's voice performance does elevate it. It's played so straight. It's like Adam West's Batman almost, where it's the commitment to the bit that elevates it.
Yes.
The worst thing I can say is that the Super Mario transformation is the same color flash nonsense as usual. That and the gag with the gold coin fell flat due to the unenthusiastic animation. The cover song is an interesting choice that quickly grew on me, but a little too obscure for me to cheer at the sound of it. Dolly Parton? Sure, why not? I couldn't expect Dan Reba to sample Lin-Manuel Miranda 30 years early, but at the very least, the cover song could have lasted longer than 40 seconds. I also can't tell if the animation visual errors are baked into the cartoon itself or a consequence of the rip I was watching, but they kind of add to the charm. That's the thing about this cartoon. It's not the show as a whole, but it lives or dies by its charm. No, those were there. They were there on the DVD because that's what Aaron and I watched. Yeah, we had to pause it when everybody but the flash of light disappeared during that one section. I almost made that the screen grab, but it really wouldn't have made any sense. Favorite joke. It's a constitutional thing, followed by, we'll wait till dawn. Oh yeah, that's when Koopa wanted to not wait till dawn, and why couldn't he attack at night? And then he immediately eats shit because he can't see.
Yeah.
We'll wait till dawn.
It's not morning yet. Why isn't it morning?
It's only midnight, Exalted Leader. Have patience.
Patience is for pipsqueaks like you. We attack now.
In the dark?
Dark is a lousy idea and you shouldn't have had it. We'll wait till dawn.
Unintentional foreshadowing. I actually forgot this time that Mummy Goombas would be a thing in later titles. This time around, the Gange get frozen in a way... I think that's supposed to be gang. The gang gets frozen in a way comparable to later games like Mario Party, Mario Kart, and New Super Mario Brothers? Yeah, sure, that'll work. 71 to date. Updated top 5? I enjoyed the cartoon a lot, but it's not quite Yop 10 material for me at this point. There are too many genuine bangers to compare. Likewise, the rapper was enjoyable, but doesn't crack my top 5. Question of the week. You've achieved enlightenment and can... Excuse me. Question of the week. You've achieved enlightenment and can communicate through force projection to your favorite fictional protagonists. Choose a fictional protagonist to give enlightening advice to. What advice would you give them? Me? I have some choice words for Netflix Catra's self-destructive rivalry with Adora / She-Ra, and those words are Scorpia is right there. Next episode's premise is all Greek to me, but it cannot be ignored. I'll see you then. If you could mentally project yourself into a fictional universe or cartoon or what have you and give a character some advice you wish you could give them, like tell Kagome to take a gun back in time.
There is a gun. Use it. This is a difficult one.
It is.
John, you go first.
I'm not counting the quip I made. I would say... Well, it's hard. It's like when you're watching something that's going for the... You know, like the Faulty Towers Frasier type thing where everybody just keeps missing that one piece of information that would explain everything. And you wish you could just explain everything.
Yes.
But that's a bit too broad of a subject. Let's see. I'm trying to... Something I've been watching recently. I'm working on it. There'll be a little chaff to cut out of this one.
Okay, force project myself into Voyager, tell Janeway either screw the Prime Directive or follow it to stop waffling between.
That's true.
But that's just more for storytelling.
Yeah, teach the Ocampans to fish and leave.
Don't go to Warp 10.
Yeah, just don't do it. It's a bad time for everybody.
For a storytelling perspective, don't do it.
Yeah, just don't.
Yeah.
Stop. Get some help. I'm trying... I was going to narrow it down to cartoons, but if Voyager's on the table, anything's on the table. Go into all of those CW Arrowverse shows and tell everyone to stop acting like little bitches. Tell the female characters to stop waggling their heads back and forth while they tell off the male characters for lying about everything and then walking towards the camera, and then the camera zooms in on the male character looking sad. Don't do that. No. Seriously, though. Yeah, I'm trying to think of a specific example. Besides Kagome, get your gun.
Grab your strap.
Yeah. It's time to go 1996 on those bitches.
Trying to think of anything else, because, like...
Yeah, I know. It's not an easy one.
No.
I could project myself into Turbo, a Power Rangers movie, and tell them not to do anything until they explain what happened to the Zeo powers.
I can project myself into the Green Lantern movie and say that the costume looks dumb. Fix it. And a lot of other things.
Yeah. They didn't know what the costume looked like when they were making it.
I know. Force project myself into the Quantum Leap universe before Scott Bakula jumps back in time. And just say, hey, it doesn't work. You never return home.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of works, but, you know.
He never returns home, though. That was the ending.
Yeah, it's like in that Jumanji movie where they found the old Jumanji guy's house. Although, technically, he did make it home by not going. But his house was still there? Yeah, this is a lot more labored than it should have been. Dr. Derp's suggestion was going in and solving the shipping problem in the She-Ra reboot.
Meanwhile, we're trying to solve storylines.
Yeah, so maybe it should be a little more simple. Like...
Tell Chekhov and 7 of 9 that yes, just get together. It's okay.
Chekhov?
Yes, 100%. Chakotay.
Yeah, everybody liked that.
I know, right? Everyone. It didn't come out of nowhere.
Well, I don't think we're going to find any more satisfying suggestions than this, so... I think we'll just leave it at that for now.
And go back to the episode.
Yeah.
If you want to reach out to the show, you can leave a comment on the YouTube version of today's episode.
You can email us at theanimatedarcade@gmail.com.
You can hit us up on Twitter X at @animatedarcade.
And on Facebook, Blue Sky, Tumblr, and I'm missing one. TikTok,
there it is. At The Animated Arcade.
I get it. I'm in jeopardy.
Baby. Alright, so, next episode, predictions time. The live action segment is called Texas Tea, as in TEA.
Oh.
Is it what it's actually referencing, or is it going to be a pun based on that?
I think it's going to be actually what it's referencing.
The Mario Brothers go into the pipe void and strike oil?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Or they think they strike oil, and Oil Tycoon comes to claim it, and in the end it's just sewage. Sewer water.
That sounds, I don't know, but I think that's a great guess. I would go around that way too. And now, this one might be a bit easier. The cartoon next time is The Trojan Koopa.
Ah. We're going ancient Greek.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, I was going to say, Koopa was already a Caesar.
Yes. We've already had Hercules.
Yeah, and a Greek gladiator gig.
Yeah.
So now we got the Battle of Troy.
Yeah.
So, presumably there'll be a giant King Koopa full of Troopas.
Yeah.
So, we'll see how our plucky heroes get out of that one. But we'll have to find out next time. I'm John.
I'm hidden away.
And the airwaves
are our waves.
So until next time, everybody,
do the Mario!
Thanks for listening to The Animated Arcade. Our theme song is After School Keyboard Club by Xennial, sourced from freemusicarchive.org. Our logo and thumbnail art is done by Shell, who you can follow on Instagram at YourMidnightCrafter. The cover songs from the Mario-themed episodes are sourced from the Super Mario Bros. Super HQ channel on YouTube. These links, as well as the music used in our Zelda-themed episodes and all of our social media accounts, are found in the description.